And they're going to time that with their plans for world government. And they're going to try to force the people of the world to their knees economically and financially, particularly the United States and Europe, because they are or have been historically, the centers of wealth, education, etc.
But then what is going to happen to the average individual under those circumstances? If you collapse the monetary system, what happens to Mr. and Mrs. America? I mean, what happens to their bonds? What happens to their CDs? What happens to their annuities and pensions and certainly their insurance policies?
They lose it all. The only thing that's safe is gold and silver-related assets. And I won't even go into that because you've heard it before. And that's the only thing that's safe.
Well, I do that.
And if they try to come and take them from you, they're going to have a war on their hands. And if they send their mercenaries, their 100,000 or whatever it is, after the American people, there's 450 million guns in the country. 80 million veterans, 40 million combat veterans, and all the other people who can shoot to keep their freedom. I don't think anybody stands a chance.
Well, of course, I certainly never want to see it get to that point, but certainly I hope that people will take a stand when the government comes to take away the life savings of the people and to take away the gold and silver and, of course, to take away their weapons as well. But that, of course, is a prelude to a dictatorship. Well, anyway, of course, there are people in government who really do want to have a dictatorship. Some of these people have written about it. There's stories that I think you even referred to as somebody that's being considered for its Supreme Court justice, who's written, actually, how we have to, of course, begin to stop people from coming up with these conspiracy theories, and certainly these people have to be removed. These people who talk against the government, who believe that there's a conspiracy at the highest levels of our government. And yet, of course, he admits in his own papers that there have been conspiracies in the past, and he talks about Operation Northwood and says, yes, this was certainly legitimate, and there really was this conspiracy and that conspiracy, but the people who talk about conspiracies obviously have to be silenced. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes, it is a fair statement. We can talk about it, but you can't. Because we are the anointed ones. We are part of the Brotherhood of Darkness, the Illuminists.
Right.
Who will light the way into our new world government and the world of rainbow religion and absolute insanity and slavery.
Well, we live in a world gone mad. There are only a few of us who are sane, and a lot of people think we're crazy, but I think even more people are beginning to fear that we're not insane, that we're really telling the truth. And I think there is a great awakening across America, and I think we just have to keep talking and bringing out the truth. Well, certainly they keep telling us that things are getting better, the economy's improving, but it looks to me like more people are continue losing their homes, more people continue losing their jobs, and they simply fudge the figures. My understanding this last month, they said that the job losses were way down, but that was because so many people had given up looking for work, and so they weren't counted. How does that work, Bob?
Well, it works by the magic which emanates from Washington and New York City. And they do what they want to do. Unemployment is 22.5% if you strip out the birth-death ratio out of U6. And this month, it'll probably be relatively the same. And next month, when they make their birth-death adjustment of some 850,000 jobs that didn't exist, that they admit to, the figure is actually 1.7 million jobs that they created that didn't exist. And so if you look at those figures, you'll probably have a bump up to 23% or maybe more unemployment. And it's just lies upon lies upon lies, and they don't care. They do what they want to do, and they're going to have to be brought to justice. And the only way that that's probably going to happen is by us getting some people into Congress who will listen to their constituents and stop what's going on, and also get rid of the Federal Reserve. And if we can do that, we got a chance.
Well,
we can't do that.
Hold that thought. Our telephone number, 1-888-24-LIBERTY. 1-888-24-LIBERTY or 464-8295. Give us a call here at Radio Liberty. This is Dr. Stan back here at Radio Liberty. Our guest, Bob Chapman. Our telephone number, 1-888-24-LIBERTY. 1-888-24-LIBERTY, 464-8295. And don't believe a thing that you read in the newspaper. You can't have a recovery without new jobs, and we're not creating any jobs. Any jobs that have been created have all been because of the money the government borrowed and, of course, gave to the states. But that's the only increased employment. It's not coming from the new businesses that are going in. It's not coming from new manufacturing, because we're sending those over to communist China. And we're subsidizing General Motors and Chrysler and all these other countries that are taking companies that are taking our jobs out of America. Our telephone number, 1-888-24-LIBERTY, 464-8295. And, of course, basically what the government is doing is simply borrowing money to try to keep this thing afloat. But how long can you keep borrowing? Take money from your credit card, use it to pay off your debts. It doesn't work indefinitely. Go right ahead.
That's right. The country is broke. The major banks and brokerage firms are broke no matter what they tell you. They're running two sets of books. And the Bank for International Settlements, which is the bankers' banks, won't do anything about it because they know what the outcome's going to be, and they're all buddy-buddy. The FASB, which is the U.S. and International Accounting Board, won't institute their rules, just like the BIS won't. So these people can run roughshod. The only thing that's been saved is Wall Street and banking and insurance. The rest of the country has been let go down a rat hole.
Well, certainly the bankers are doing quite well. I saw where Chris, I think that J.P. Morgan, Chase is going to put aside, $20 billion or so, $26 billion for bonuses for their employees. But they're not going to pay any dividends to the stockholders, and of course so much of that money that they're going to be paying out was funneled to them through AIG from American taxpayers. So we're giving them the money so they can give some $26 billion in bonuses to employees. That's a lot of money, isn't it?
It certainly is. And that's really where it's going, directly from the taxpayer to those criminals. And they are criminals. Just because they wear $3,000 suits doesn't make them nice people. Sure, they get wonderful educations, and they're very bright, but so aren't we. And we're not going to let that happen.
Well, we're not going to get millions of dollars in bonuses. Anyway, let's go to Joe, who's calling us from New Jersey. Hi, New Jersey. Hi, Joe. How you doing? You got to speak up. I can't hear you.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Joe, do you have a question? Yes, Joe.
Yeah, hold on. Let me turn my my computer off. Hold on.
All right, fine.
Yeah, hi, Dr. Stan?
Right. Do you have a question for our guest?
Well, this is what I want to share with you, Dr. Stan and Bob Chapman. I heard a program the other day over the radio. I think it was WABC. And it came out of a fellow out of Israel who's quite a good reporter. And he said, what's on the table now, Obama has composed a 48-page order, and he's going to try to get it going because they're going to be sending out agents to shut you guys down, all you conspiracy theory kind of programs. And I would say one thing. I saw the Jesse Ventura program last week. And he was talking to a particular kind of a person who warning that his life is in danger, and then Jesse Ventura asked him whether he thought his opinion was whether he thought Jesse Ventura's life was in danger, and the fellow said, no, he's too high, you're too high profile. The only thing I could say for you fellas to do is try to get as high profile as you can, because if they come from, they won't go after the high profiling conspiracy programs. They're going to go for guys like you.
All right, what's your comment on that, Bob?
Well, I think that's possible. I've often, over the last 50 years, thought about that, and it certainly hasn't deterred me nor you. And they may do that, and that's one of the reasons I don't live in the United States. And because they're going to have to come and find me, and that's not going to be easy.